This is a Headgum podcast.
Hey bitch, what is your whole deal? Hey bitch, just tell us how you feel. You wished for a sign from above. Well, here's a podcast about boy sex, fucking, dating, and love. Seek treatment if you're boring as fuck. Seek treatment if you're unlucky in love. Seek treatment if you just can't take a hint. Well, seek treatment with Kat and Pat.
Hey. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll is the energy in the studio today. And of course, we're all in our own studios, but that doesn't mean that this isn't Pat.
And this is Pat.
And this is Seek Treatment, a podcast about boys, sex,
drugs, rock and roll.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll, dating, love.
In love.
We're live on Riverside.fm with the one and only. Are you ready for this, you guys? Open your mother effing ears for Jon Lovett.
Hi. Now
He's ordering a breakfast burrito.
I literally am ordering a breakfast burrito as we get hold on. Go to checkout. I'm not adding an iced latte. Nice try. Nice try. Nice try. Tip? No. Kidding. All right.
Let them order a burrito.
You know, I've been doing really good with let them. Yeah, to let them plus
right.
And guess what? I'm not doing anxiety anymore.
Oh my God.
That's awesome. I didn't know you could just do that.
How did that happen?
I didn't either. Something got shook loose. It was actually an incredible gift from my higher power, whom I call God, because someone was being really anxious about something. Like, they thought I was mad at them, and it was like, oh my God, like, this is so crazy. Like, I did it. I'm not mad at all. Like, this is so crazy. And I realized I'm always doing that, and it's like, what a waste of your life. Do you know what I mean? No, for sure. I mean, I think I love that for you. I'm really proud of you. I just didn't realize that once you have that epiphany, which I feel like I've had every day for my entire life, you could just turn it off. That's so cool. You need someone to be anxious about you in this specific way where it was so crazy. The thing they thought I was mad over was
oh my God, I want to know.
Is it
too complicated?
It's just not interesting.
Is it over my head? Would you say it's over my head specifically?
We wouldn't understand it.
It's out of my depth. Well, John, maybe if you put down the venti iced coffee, you wouldn't be so anxious. Never.
Yeah, probably. I mean, like there's a lot of, obviously, look, there are simple steps we all could take every day to make our lives a little bit better. I don't think this is a show about doing those steps. No, then you're quite wrong.
Well, we're doing a rebrand actually today, so let them become a health and wellness podcast. Let them. Well, you know what? You guys are going to be so impressed
Someone
with
tried
me.
to make me.
What?
Someone tried to make me feel stupid like 6 days ago. No.
How?
That's almost a week ago. Someone made me feel stupid. I can't say how because they listen to the podcast and they'll know. But it's like someone made an attempt, a valiant attempt to make me feel stupid 6 days ago.
You know what I say, Pat? Swing and a miss.
And you know what I say? Let them
try to make you. Well, you guys, you're going to freak out. You're going to be jaws on the floor because, first of all, thank you for doing this so early. It's because I am in London, England, where I have converted from coffee to tea. I've converted. Wow. This is a tea home.
That's neat. Do you know my favorite line from Buffy season 3?
Go ahead.
This isn't my favorite line from Buffy at all, but this is a line from Buffy that for some reason is a core memory. John, did you watch Buffy? I didn't. I mean, I love the film. Of course. I love the film, but I've never seen the show. Well, in season 3, they were all getting ready for the mayor's ascension into a demon. And they had to figure out how to stop him before graduation because that was when he was going to do it. And I think it was Giles. There was 2 British characters that season, and I think it was Giles was like, "You need some coffee," and someone was like, "Don't you drink tea?" And he was like, "Tea is for when I want to be relaxed. I want to be stressed right now." And then someone said, "Well, you're ruining a perfectly good stereotype."
Oh, how are they ruining a perfectly good stereotype?
Because they're British and they're like, "I want to drink coffee." So it's like, well, don't British people drink tea? And that was kind of in that build up to graduation part 1.
And it's like, we have bigger problems right now, Giles. The mayor is ascending into a demon. John, how the hell are you?
I'm all right.
I'm doing
What's
great.
the vibe? Yeah, great. The
Doing
vibes
so
are
good.
great.
The vibes
are
are so
electric.
good. I like feel, my job is to keep up with the news on a daily basis. And that's a bargain I made. That's my ascension into, that's my ascension into being a demon, a choice I made many years ago. And so obviously look, I think we're all doing this, which is, America's descending into authoritarianism. Personally, I've never been happier. It's like that's sort of where I'm at. And it's a hard thing to reconcile. But, life is about contradictions. Life's about what's complicated. God laughs at our plans,
Yeah, right.
Oh, he chuckles.
He thinks that our plans are hysterical. And do you think, just while we're on the subject, do you think life is a roller coaster?
100%. There's ups, there's downs. There's also parts where you're flat now and accelerate, which is new.
Oh,
What do you mean?
So, because I think like when life was like a roller coaster before, it was like click, 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 click. You go up, you go down. There's a loop-de-loop. But now a roller coaster has changed. Now you could just be sitting perfectly still, flat. All of a sudden, it goes dark. You're accelerating
0
with the
to
power
60.
of magnets, with the power of electricity.
Yeah, I gotta go to Six Flags. sooner
Benjamin
than
Franklin
later.
really did the damn thing.
No, yeah, he ate.
He ate with that.
I still don't not to be stupid, but I still don't get Benjamin Franklin's experiment. I'm like, okay, so you did a kite in the air, a lightning bolt hit it. It's like, okay, so how does that help? Do you know what I mean? How did that help?
Right,
Make it make sense.
Yeah, it's like it really hurts. And then from there, where do we go? Well, the thing about that too, I feel like that's apocryphal, and not because he didn't say it. Like apparently he said he did that, and it's
but he's a liar,
right? But what's so you're Benjamin Franklin, if you just got rid of the kite part, right? If you just get rid of the part with the kite, huge guy, right? Big deal. Right? He's doing a lot. He's helping to found the country. He's making new kinds of rocking chairs. The man was on it.
Pioneered a iconic and quite frankly shocking hairstyle.
For sure. He's sleeping with Parisians before
He's
that was
gagging
something
them.
everybody was talking about. And Benjamin Franklin has an amazing resume, but even Benjamin Franklin is
I need to say I did this thing.
I'm I need one more thing. I need to build up my resume. I need one more line here. And I think that's interesting.
Should we be sleeping with Parisians?
Well, you're the closest to it.
I know. I'm so close. Should I get on the Eurostar and just
take
open
the
up?
channel? The channel exists, right? They built that thing.
Sure.
I haven't heard about it in a while, but I assume it's still there.
Sure. I've never slept with a Parisian. Have you guys?
I almost slept with a Parisian once.
That's huge. Wait,
That's
have
cool.
I? No, it's never been. They've never been erotic towards me, the French. But I wish them the best. Well, wait. Pat, how are you?
I'm good.
Wait.
Wait, do you do that on purpose? I guess we can keep going, and sometimes on this podcast, someone runs one person leaves, and we just fly by the seat of our pants.
Is there anything you want to say about Kat while she's gone?
Not right now.
Okay.
Wait, so you're in Hollywood at the offices?
We're at the global headquarters of
That
Crooked
was
Media.
crazy, you guys. I can't apologize enough.
No worries.
I think the way I'm treating my microphone is catching up with me. I just throw it across the room and now it's sort of freaking out. But we're back.
We're back.
Back to Benjamin Franklin, back to reality. Oops, there goes gravity. Oops, he's so mad, but he won't give up that easy.
Okay, so John, on the podcast, I like to ask one simple question.
Who are you? Who are you? And who do you want to be?
Such a, what an important question that is. I know the question was coming. It's not like I didn't know the question was coming. Didn't prepare for it whatsoever.
No,
That's the best. It's best that
annoying
way.
when people prepare. Where did you grow up?
I grew up on Long Island.
Oh my God. Where?
We've talked about it.
Whoa.
John, shut
John.
up. Don't come on here and say shit like
Hey,
that.
guys.
Oh my God.
Guys, can you
did this
unplug
podcast
John?
in good faith. I did this podcast in good fucking faith, John. And you came in here to fillet me. You're trying to be Z-way ass, bitch. Trying to get me. Get the fuck off the Zoom. Get the fuck on the StreamYard. Z-way ass bitch. Get out of here.
came in so hot. Came in so hot.
Wait, what?
We've talked about this. Shut up.
Forgive me, John. What town?
I grew up in Syosset.
Wow, now that's an iconic Nassau town.
It is an iconic Nassau
Syosset, I
town.
hardly know her, right?
Right, no, for sure. Syosset makes an appearance in a few places. One is in the movie Soap Dish.
Never seen.
Well, it's in it. And
we believe you. And we believe you.
But and then I think it's in what was the Fleischman's in Trouble. One of the books is about Syosset.
Wow.
Yes, is it the Long Island Compromise?
The Long Island Compromise is the new book, but there's a fake book in Fleischman's in Trouble. That's called Syosset something.
I wish that Long Island Compromise was one of the books in Fleischman's in Trouble.
Yeah, Long Island Compromise, story of my life. You know what I mean?
Wait,
Let's go.
Did you like being from Long Island?
No.
And do you like it now?
No, it wasn't. And like, I think there was something, like,
Say it.
I didn't. It was. I'm trying to. It's like it's not like there was something about Long Island where, like, it was like, oh, that's called being passionate. I didn't realize that was allowed. You know, like I really felt that, like, not explicitly, like implicitly, that like it was hard to know how to care about things in a way that wouldn't get you like caught in the laser beams in one way or another.
Totally.
Either like, because if you're like passionate would probably tilt me into effeminate, or not in the direction of being like a lawyer or a doctor or something kind of down the middle. But it's not that I was like, the thing of looking back on it, it's like, it wasn't even that I like felt a desire to like rebel. I just didn't even have a conception of another way of being, or that like it wouldn't even have like I didn't think about breaking the rules or not breaking the rules. That was not a thought that occurred to me. You just simply did what you were meant to do, and there was no other way of being. And it took me a long time after growing up on Long Island to kind of free myself of that way of thinking over time. Like I think like it took me. I mean, I'm still doing it. I think you're still figuring out how to do that.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. I've been like thinking so much about that because I'm like in this place of like, why did I not? Like, you just hear about, when did you come out? Can I ask?
I came out right between high school and college.
Oh, cool. That's
the
pretty
classic slot.
young. But where did you go to college?
Williams College in Massachusetts. I mean, this is part of it too. Is it's like, what was the mindset? I loved Williams. I had a great time there. But it was like, what was the mindset of my closet case 17-year-old brain that I was like, you know where I need to go? I need to go to a lacrosse school in rural Massachusetts.
I know.
Oh my God.
But I struggled with also choosing a lacrosse school, and it's hard to go back and be like, why did I go to a lacrosse school as a closeted Long Islander? But it is this thing of like, well, that's what people do, and like I never questioned that even once, and that's why I didn't come out until for so long.
Yeah.
Were you the only gay guy at your lacrosse school?
No, there were others, but it was slim pickings. It was like because there was only 2,000 or so students. There's like 500.
So small.
So
That's
small. There's really, and like I was pretty like emotionally closed off. So it really took me a long time to like find my footing and figure out how to start being gay at Williams. And
Gay at Williams.
Oh my God. You know, I spent an electric summer at Williams.
Is that part of the theater festival?
Of course, John. And I had the little sandwich shop.
Yeah, Papa Charlie's.
Delicious. I had the Blythe Danner.
The Blythe Danner, a classic. A classic.
Really good.
There's a Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh my God.
Making a
They should
name
name
for
one for
herself.
you. They should name one for you.
They probably would have.
Yeah, it's a. I would like that. I would like to have a sandwich named
What would
after
it be?
me.
What would be on it?
Oh, that's so. Thank you for asking. First of all,
Of course.
you know they have a. I would list. You know what? I don't need a new sandwich. I would just like the chicken parm named after me because I feel like I was
that's
passionate about
solid.
it. I was passionate about it, and it's not their wheelhouse. You know, they're a cold cuts, lettuce, tomato, sprouts kind of establishment, but they have that chicken parm on the menu, and it was a go-to for me. It was a
At
go-to
the end
for
of the
me.
day, a chicken parm at the end of the day isn't going to do it for me.
Really?
At the end of the day, even a Jon Lovett. I would never order the Jon Lovett because at the end of the day, when I go and and seek that sandwich. What I'm looking for is a savory experience. And like chicken parm almost skews like like
what do we
the marinara of it all. The marinara
I
of it all.
completely
It's
agree,
not
Pat.
that kind of American cheese mayonnaise
I see.
experience. Do you know?
That's
and I
exactly
know-
why John was drawn to it, Pat.
Totally.
Yeah, that's why it's not going to be called the Pat Regan. I mean, that nobody was saying that. So it's like nothing to worry about. So you don't have to worry is the point I'm trying to
Well,
make.
guess what? I don't worry anymore because someone was anxious about something I did, and now I'm cured.
Oh.
Because
I
you
would
released
never-
it.
So do you think the person you think the person who listens to this show will not understand that you're referring to them by referring to what happened 6 days ago?
So no, so I'm talking about two different things. One, like last or 2 nights ago, I found out that someone I'd had dinner with thought that they said something that like upset me, and I was like, oh my god, like it's like the sweetest person. I was like, I would never be, that's so crazy. I was like, I felt so badly that they had worried about it, and I was like, I'm always doing that. So that's one person. Now, completely separate from that entity. And that's why I'm not going to worry about the chicken parm being named after me, because it will never happen. It will be a waste of my
You're
one
so safe
life on
from
this
that
earth.
happening.
Now, secondly, I was there was an attempt made to make me feel stupid
6 days ago.
6 days ago. Actually, and I'm not sure it was 6. It wasn't 6 days ago because it was before last week. It was the week before last week, so it was like a longer ago. But I'm still
Now,
recovering.
Can we go back one step? Because John, I want to know, what were you like in high school?
So I was pretty like, so much of it obviously revolves around being closeted, and so I think like I was both like pretty kind of you know those like experiments where, so there's experiments where they put like 2 mice in 2 different cages, and in one cage a little light goes on before they get a random shock, and the mouse learns to like hop up onto a little ledge. But in the other case there's no ledge, and so the mouse just eventually just lays down on the floor and just gets shocked every once in a while and just sort of accepts its fate.
Now, this is a real
Who did
experiment.
that?
What?
Who did that?
Benjamin
That's so
Franklin.
bad.
It was a Benjamin
He is
Franklin.
so fucked.
He tied a key to a mouse's neck.
Right. It was horrible. It was horrible.
So you're saying that's how? Sorry, wait. Finish the analogy.
So anyway, I think that I was so confused by when I was getting picked on at random moments that eventually I just sort of just lay down on the cage floor.
No, I was hoping you were the other mouse. I was hoping you were the other mouse.
No. Oh my God. I'm looking over at that other mouse and I'm thinking, that mouse doesn't know how good he fucking has it. Able to jump on a little ledge. I'm not jumping on a little ledge.
Wait, so
Well,
what?
comparison is a thief of joy.
But what do you mean that you didn't jump on the ledge?
I think that like I became like, it wasn't, and by the way, this wasn't like a constant. It wasn't like I was picked on all the time, but like I didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't really understand how to have friends. And I just found myself like just a lot of like just little moments of feeling kind of isolated and like I was saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Because I just, that's how, that was the feeling. And so eventually just sort of kind of shut down a little bit. And so I think,
Were you politically minded?
I was, and that was sort of an outlet. Like, so I did the Speech and Debate Club, and I did Extemp and OO and DO and
so my
yeah.
favorite
One more.
What was the other one?
One more acronym.
You said you were politically minded, and yet you only did 4 political things. That's crazy, John.
I also did mock trial.
Damn.
I was a
my
mathlete.
God.
I did a lot of clubs. I did a lot of
Genius. Genius alert.
I'll never forget when my brother was in law school and he asked me to be like one of the witnesses in mock trial, and I had to like learn this case and like act as a witness, and his partner was like, you really need to perform it and you really need to like ham it up, kind of, excuse the phrase. And I was like, okay. So I did my best, and then literally the person who was in charge was like, he's performing too much. And I was like, okay, well, I was told to do that. Like, I'm not trying to like express myself through my brother's mock trial.
I like that you're in mock trial, and then somebody like just behind the witness stand is like, okay, Pat, we love it, just now throw it away.
I forget the context of the note, but yeah, there was a little less mustard, just more naturalistic.
Little less mustard.
Yeah.
But I was so clearly I had so much like pent up energy and anger. Like I remember we would do mock trial, and I would learn the thing inside. and out. Because what they would do is they would give you basically kind of a set of affidavits, like a probably a 25-page document, and everything you ever needed to know about the fake case you're about to put on was inside this document, and it was supposed to be even. And sometimes you'd be the plaintiff, and sometimes you'd be the defense. And I would know this thing inside and out. And so on like a random Wednesday night, you would go to the actual courthouse, and actual judges would volunteer to be the judges in these cases.
Oh my God.
Get a life,
And
judges.
then I would be the lawyer, and the witness would be on the stand, and I would fucking hammer these witnesses and be like, isn't it true that you that you saw the bicycle out of the window?
Yes.
And at one point, a real judge, like kind of stopped me. He said, like, I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. But clearly, like basically, like you have frightened this other child who doesn't know the case as well as you.
He was like, I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong, but clearly you're gay. Keep going. Did you have crushes?
God. Yeah.
You know, I think the truth is that like I was so closed off. I think that like I seamlessly transitioned from like when you're a little gay boy, right? Like you don't, especially when I feel like I'm like part of the last, or like one of the last like generations that like it wasn't talked about that some of the kids were going to be gay. It was just something kind of like, it was like rumor. Like it was like only through rumor and innuendo. Like I remember kids talking about how like 1 in 10 people were turned out to be gay, and then everybody counting. There's a lot of counting.
It was like so scary. But wait, can I ask, and you only answer your safe, how old are you?
I'm 42.
Okay.
Oh my God, baby face AF.
All right.
Looking young as hell.
I'm so conflicted, but I just want to the whole idea of like looking younger, which is something like I know I really, really care about, but then also know that like no matter how much younger I look, I will ultimately look like every age until I die. And so there's this weird so it's like looking younger now, great. You're terrified of what is absolutely 100% inevitable, because the age I'm so proud to not look like is an age I will look like with certainty unless I get hit by a bus. The best case scenario is I slowly age into every age I'm terrified of being.
Right, but
it's cool that you look younger than your peers.
By the time you look like that next age, you will in fact be in even worse age.
Right. I always
I don't like looking at you either, because it's like, well, then it feels like you have disappointed or something. Like people will be like, they'll think you're young, and then you reveal your age, and they're like, you're not young at all. And I'm like, well, I didn't mean to lie. Right. This is just how
you're not young. You're disgusting. I always say too, it's like I had these two jokes. One was like, okay, look at yourself in the mirror when you're exhausted, when you think that you're absolutely like at your most haggard looking. In 2 years, that's your fucking best.
Are you tired a lot?
All the time.
Do you guys know I'm actually getting more beautiful with age because I'm finding my inner light?
Wow.
I'm finding my inner light as well.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
Awesome
it's cool to believe
sauce.
that.
Could you please say it's awesome sauce? Moving forward. Thank you, John.
John, do you think I'm stupid?
Do I?
Do you think I am? Just be honest. I don't care.
I don't think you're stupid.
I know I am.
I don't think you're stupid.
About politics,
What do
John,
you
if
think
you
of
knew
me?
how little I knew, you'd be shocked. This episode of Seek Treatment is brought to you by Booking.com. Yeah, you guys, when I use Booking.com to find a place to stay in America, I know they're going to have exactly what I'm looking for, because they have so many options, from hotels to like vacation rentals. I know I can find what I'm looking for. I found Booking.com has something for everyone.
And I'm going on a writing retreat soon. I'm so excited. I want to go into like a mountainous region. I don't know the area very well. I know that I'm going to use Booking.com to find the perfect place for me to settle in and focus on my creative work. And I'll be able to have all of my needs met so that I can just focus on being there, being me, and creating my art.
I can't wait to hear about your retreat. I think Booking.com is going to be really helpful in making that retreat happen.
I think so too. I think it'll play a heavy hand in the entire experience.
You can thank them in your acknowledgement sections.
I would hope that I do, and give a special thanks if credits roll if it's a screen project. So find exactly what you're looking for on Booking.com. Yeah.
No purchase necessary. Eligibility requirements. Open to U.S. residents 18 and older. Promotion period from March 26 to April 13, 2025. Where to find full official rules? All rules are available in the caption of the sweepstakes post. Wow. Period cramps. Well, let me tell you this. About 90% of menstruating people get them. Sometimes I get them. Sometimes I don't get them. I'm a bit irregular. And let me ask you this. Since so many people get them, why do we know next to nothing about them, babe? Well, I'll tell you this much. With the new podcast Cramped, host Kate Helen Downey attempts to solve the 20-year medical mystery of her severe period pain. Her cramps make her throw up and pass out, and yet she's never gotten a diagnosis or a treatment that helps. Now she's sitting down with doctors, researchers, and other crampers to understand why. So over the course of 10 episodes, she gets answers to some of the most basic questions about her experience, like what causes period pain in the first place, why scientists often use only male cells in animals, and why everyone on TikTok is telling her to balance her hormones. Ugh, amazing. By the end of the season, she has a diagnosis, a treatment plan, and a much clearer understanding of why so many people are suffering without help, because it turns out having a microphone gets her a lot more answers than having a uterus. Whether you experience cramps, love someone who does, or are just curious about a very common experience that hardly ever gets talked about openly, listen to Cramped wherever you get your podcasts. I know I'll be tuning in.
I remember talking to you at your house one time, and I was like at my most mentally ill, and you kind of were like, why are you saying these things?
Yeah, it was. I do remember that. Well, I actually think like coming full circle, which is.
But that was when that was my most mentally ill. I
know.
moved here.
I'm realizing now I owe you a deep and true apology, which is I do because circling back as a roller coaster would.
Yes.
That was when we talked about Long Island at length. But I'm now realizing what I was gonna say. I was actually gonna say this, but I was gonna say, oh, but of course you don't remember that. You were in a fucking state, and like. You were like.
Don't say what I was saying.
I will not. But you were laying out like this sort of problem, and it was I feel like it was the equivalent of someone on the sinking Titanic not knowing how to make a checkers move. Like you were just like, I'm stuck on checkers, and I was like, stuck on checkers? You're on a sinking fucking ship. What are we talking about? It was wild. It was like, and that's so funny. Like you just and
it was your party too.
It was my party. But by the way, at that moment, like I think that one thing that like I feel like I keep learning over and over again is like you are never more fully fucking broken and gone and making insane decisions than when you think you just like are about to figure it out. You're just like, no, but I know, hear me out. I think I've cracked it. It's like, no, you are completely fucked right now.
You're crazy. To quote Bethany Frankel, you're crazy, go to sleep.
That is so funny. Oh my God.
Anyways.
So that's how Long Island got lost in the sauce.
But I remember in that conversation, which it was like peppered in between moments of you describing basically like a Hieronymus Bosch painting, just like broken bodies and nonsense and like I think that there's like a devil and a little like it's just absolutely insane. We talked about pizza on Long Island for a while in there.
Cold cheese.
I love that. Mm-hmm. Where did you go?
Mario's was a big one.
Right, we had a Mario's in East Northport.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of gay guys in entertainment are from Long Island. Do you know
yes, of course.
Matt Rogers, Jordan Firstman, Jordan's from my town proper.
I think it's
That's wild.
I think it's like Long Island. It's like a fertile. It's like it's a fertile crescent. It's a fertile crescent for sure. It's a fertile crescent, but it's like very fertile, but like it's like like when like a plant is in a pot that's too small. And so it's like it's a lot of little gay boys just like ready to burst out from the fucking thing. And so then you get them in a bigger place and they blossom, they bloom.
Oh my God.
Totally.
So you're in high school, you go to Williams. How'd you become the mogul you are today?
What a question. So I studied math. I was really interested in math.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I really liked it. I liked how rigorous it was and hard it was, but at the same time, I was always interested in politics. So I kind of had these two directions I wanted to go in. And I slowly realized that like, as I moved up in math, that these other kids were just on another level. And like, they're putting Rubik's Cubes behind their back and solving it. And it's like, that's couldn't be me, not going to ever be my energy. And I realized too, that like, I was so ambitious. I had such a desire for success. And I sort of realized that I was not going to get it in math. Like, these are not healthy decisions. I was not.
No, you could solve a really hard problem.
Right, but I'm saying that no, I can't.
Oh yeah, so you're not good.
I wasn't good enough. I was able, like, I could put together such a funny. I was good enough in math that I could put together a super funny presentation for the math department about real math that was like very entertaining. I could kind of like laugh my way through like, you know, math 301. But I was never. But like these kids, I mean, I was outgunned.
Yeah, you should in your next life be a lovable teacher.
Yeah, I think that
since you're making math fun.
No, I would love to make math fun. I think that I do not have the patience. I think patience is such a virtue. Such a virtue. So I ended up like shifting more into politics, and I like volunteered for campaigns. I volunteered on Long Island in politics, and I ended up like getting like I got a junior job on Capitol Hill, and I ended up writing jokes for Hillary Clinton.
Oh my God!
So Hillary Clinton
for parties and stuff.
So Hillary Clinton was going to the Spina Bifida charity roast of Barbara Walters.
Oh my God!
And so I
didn't get the invite.
So I get people like. I had like done some stand up when I was living in New York and being a paralegal and like kind of like flitting around, like just purely amateur.
I mean, we missed that chapter. John.
I know. I had moved to New York very briefly. I'd done some open mics.
So Williams, New York.
I'm like being a paralegal.
DC.
I'm like working on a math paper actually.
Did you want to go to LS, law school?
I did. I was applying to law school. I actually had enrolled in law school and backed out at the last minute. But because I'd had like the barest of comedy experience, they'd asked me, the Hillary Clinton office asked me if I would help writing some jokes. And I said, of course. And so I ended up getting on a phone call with a bunch of speechwriters and Al Franken, actually.
Oh my God.
Which was a dream for me because I love Al Franken. When Air America Radio started, I bought a radio to listen to the first day of Air America Radio.
Oh my God.
And so I'm on this call and I'm pitching jokes with Al Franken, which was a dream. But eventually, like, they're hiring a junior speechwriter, and they remembered that I was this person that had helped with the jokes. And so I ended up getting a job as a junior speechwriter for Hillary Clinton. Wow. And that was really my start in speechwriting. And I had no idea. It was a disaster. I had no idea what I was doing. It was crazy that they hired me. My whole perspective on that job has changed basically completely in the now, oh my God, like 20 years since.
Yeah.
Because it went like, I was so overwhelmed. I felt like I was doing such a bad job. I felt like I couldn't succeed. And I blamed myself completely. And I deserve some blame for parts where I screwed up. But then I think back and I was like, I was 22, 23. I was hired for this job. I was so unprepared for it. And like, this was a sink or swim office. And I like sometimes was swimming and sometimes was sinking, but I have so much more like empathy for my 23 and 24-year-old self now than I did then.
That's such a hard job.
It's so young. It's crazy.
There was so much work to do. And I would like get up at like 5:30 or 6 in the morning, put on my Jose Banks suit. I would take the metro to the office. I would buy it was so unhealthy. I would buy a giant chocolate chip cookie and a coffee. I would consume it, and then I would just like write. By the end of that job, like my face would twitch. I was so tired.
Oh my God.
I was always behind. I wrote some great stuff. Like it led to my neck. I mean, I became over time. I like eventually became a good speechwriter, and it's amazing I survived as long as I did in that job because I was there for basically 3.5 or so, 4 years, something like that. And it took me a full 2 years to learn how to be a speechwriter while I was her speechwriter.
Were they mainly wanting you to write jokes?
No, this was
or sketch.
It was,
were your monologue jokes or sketch?
It was mostly like really serious speeches. It was mostly
You must have been good at it if they kept you around so long.
Yeah.
Well, I think that they had gone through a bunch of speechwriters before me, and I think that they were just like, just leave him. They just left.
Yeah.
Just leave him. It'll be fine.
And you probably brought a great energy to the office, to be fair.
I did bring a great energy to the office. I definitely was a social personality hire for sure. There was one time too, like I would also sometimes I would write completely overnight. And then
That's insane.
And then try to get a few hours sleep. And there's one incredibly embarrassing moment at the office where everyone's at the office, and then all of a sudden my alarm went off, and it was 11 a.m. Because I'd left my phone, and I'd set an emergency alarm in case that because I'd work till 4 a.m. and then come in.
Oh my God.
So I was an absolute mess, but I really did learn a lot, and that led to being a speechwriter for President Obama.
And that's where you met your girls that are still your girls today.
Their family.
The Pod Save
Oh yeah.
girls.
Oh my God. Sorry. Yeah. That's where I met my girls. I was like, who are my fucking girls?
We're
Sorry,
your
I'm
family, John.
I know.
Family members.
Well, it's just sort of look, we are called, it's so funny because it's we get called bros all the time. And it's
Totally, but you're gay.
Not
literally.
here.
It's
Not on St. Treatment.
I know. So I'm code switching. To some they're bros, but here they're my girls.
Yeah.
So that's
It's
where
nice
I
to
met
be
my
both.
girls. Actually, Tommy and I
Y'all
were
had
roommates.
a major kiki.
Yeah, I'm Kiki. Fuck. There's
You were
yeah.
Wait, what?
No.
What?
That I just there are too many gay guys in LA that think watching Drag Race is a personality. But
I know, girl. I'm sick and
it's
tired
out of
of
control.
I'm sure.
But no, so that's where I met those guys, and I was a speechwriter for President Obama for 3 years at the White House. But
Oh my God.
Can I have a question?
yes.
Are you good at being friends with straight guys? You must be. You have a podcast with them.
So that's an interesting question too. Here's the thing that I learned is that I actually was pretty bad at it. And I was
Really?
yes, and this was sort of revelatory for me when I figured it out. Maybe it will be for you. Maybe this will help someone out there in the world.
It could.
I'm sure it will.
Which is
We save at least 10 lives each episode we record.
and this is and that's wow, that's a lot of people. That's cool. I mean, think about all the episodes.
We've saved
That is a lot of people.
We've saved close to 4,000 lives.
So I realized something, which is I had my gay personality for my girls and my gays, right?
Were you in the DC scene, voguing around town?
Well, yeah, I was curious. Were you able to have any social life during
Yes.
that time period?
I
Okay,
think
good.
I was. I really was. I was Thursdays was always, you would go, a lot of times you go to the Duplex Diner, and that was where people went Thursdays. And then Fridays was more of a chill night, and then you'd go out Saturday. I was going out a lot during this time.
Okay, but wait, finish your
Yes.
thought, because then you have to get into your hookup journey, through college, through DC.
So, this is what I would say. So I realized that I was a worse friend to straight guys than I was to gay guys and to girls, because I realized that in performing a kind of version of masculinity, you weren't as supportive or helpful or caring. That I would close I was such a better friend to my gay friends and my female friends than I was to my straight male friends, because I was hiding the part of myself that was feminine, and that's the good part.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, it feels like they don't want it or something.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right, but then it's no, actually, but then that's I think the thing that was, I think, helpful for me to realize, which is even if they don't think they want it, of course they do.
Yeah.
They
They're
want it and
trapped in
need
the
it.
same. When you step into your straight male friendships, you're walking into a prison and locking the door from the inside. You can unlock the door, and maybe they'll walk out with you.
You
Oh
heard
my
it here
God, that's
first. The
beautiful.
Pod Save guys secretly want the gay stuff, and they don't even know it.
You heard that, and this is the first place you've heard that.
Okay, interesting.
So when did you
have a
first fall in
boyfriend?
love?
Okay, guys, I'm engaged.
John!
I know.
John,
I know.
Congratulations.
I
That's
knew it because you were
amazing.
co-hosting that party, and I thought to myself, something's going on.
Something
here.
is going
Oh
on.
my God.
Engaged.
Who are you engaged with?
I'm engaged to my partner Ari.
Shout
And
out.
y'all work together,
We
right?
do. So
Yeah.
so this is the part, like, this was all very confusing, and it actually relates back. This is the reason this will make sense.
Yeah.
So
fingers crossed.
fingers crossed this makes sense. Fingers crossed the plane will land.
Fingers crossed you're not playing checkers at the Titanic right
Yeah,
now.
that's also, by the way, totally a possibility. Totally a possibility. But so Ari and I met, they were non-binary. They are non-binary, but they were more female presenting. They hadn't transitioned. Okay. And they had only dated women.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. And I've met
You've
Ari.
met Ari. You've met
correct?
Ari.
Yes.
And so,
yes.
like, Ari and I were just like buddies. Like, I'd only dated cisgender men. Ari had literally only dated women.
Interesting.
And we just like hit it off. We're both like kind of anxiety prone, kind of funny Jewish people. It was just like, it just worked.
I used to be like that.
You used to be Jewish?
I used to be Jewish anxiety.
Oh, I used to be anxiety prone.
Oh,
Right?
so
I was
anxiety.
like,
That used to be you.
I forgot you used to be like that.
We both. It's so
before
not
Saturday.
plausible. We literally forgot.
I was anxious before Saturday.
I hope we can still get along now with your new personality, Pat.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah,
Okay,
and you
so
have,
y'all are
and you have a
vibing as-
motorcycle now, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
I want to be Schwartz and Sandy in the sidecar with you.
Okay, so
You guys
never
are vibing
think
as
that-
friends.
So, and then like they transitioned, and what was like really strange, and I was in a long-term relationship that ended, and it had run its course. It wasn't like a surprise. Like we had tried so hard, it just wasn't working.
And how long was that together? Can I ask?
It was like 10 and a half years.
Wow.
Yeah. So, hey, here's a fun
Interesting.
experiment people out there could try. Go on your last date when you're 29 and your first date when you're 40. Try that.
God.
Try just never dating in your 30s. It's an experience.
What was that like?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
What was that like?
I think it was like you like consider yourself like you're not a good swimmer, but you know how to swim, and then you jump in the water and you realize someone has tied cement blocks to your feet, and you just
my God.
go straight to the fucking bottom. But so like it was this strange thing that happens, which is like normally when you meet someone and you think they're someone you might want to date.
Yeah.
Or like you have like, or you just want to be friends with them and you have like friend chemistry.
Yeah.
They don't slowly, like their appearance they don't slowly transition from someone who's not in your sexual orientation to someone who is in your sexual orientation.
They became your
Totally.
type.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, you're not my type. Wait, what?
And the other part about it is that like, this is something that happens, but like transitioning can affect someone's sexual orientation as well.
Interesting.
And so like over a couple years, we went from friends. By the way, before we recorded, I just want you to know that Jordan and David, who are in the studio with me, I was saying how like I have no problem talking about this with you, but I realized like I'm at work talking about this in front of colleagues, and then and then David was like, I like learning interesting things about you, and then I was like, well, that's worse. That's worse.
Wait, so David doesn't
This
know all
isn't
this?
interesting things about you. This is your heart.
No, this is my heart. I know, but how's everybody doing back there? They're doing great. Okay.
Oh, they're all.
Well, they're all
hearing?
in this. Yeah, of course they're hearing this, and they're learning. This is
Are they
about
liking us? What are they thinking about us?
I don't know. They're loving you, but they're also they work with Ari too. So this is a
Wait,
whole
do
fucking thing.
Do the crooked media people hear what we're saying right now?
Yeah.
Do they think I'm stupid? Ask them.
Hey,
or they can hear
And
it.
do they or ignorant, Pat. Ask if it's or ignorant.
One of them does. One of them doesn't. I'm not saying which.
Wait,
No, stop it. No one thinks you're. I thought,
No.
hey, man. I don't want to alarm you, but you sound like someone with anxiety, and I know that that's not you.
That's not who you are, Pat. That's just not you.
Oh my god, I relapsed.
It's a relapse.
okay.
Get it.
Two steps forward, one
Yeah.
step back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Okay, so Ari
This is
transitions, and
interesting.
you're like,
Okay.
wait, hello.
And you're dating at this
I'm
time in this
dating.
kind of new
I'm-
cement blocks on your feet in the
Yes,
water.
I'm
type of
learning how to
way.
date again. I'm actually where you. This is, I think, when we talked. I think this is about when we talked, because I'm like listening to you and like I think I've got it all figured out. I am cuckoo bananas. Because by the way,
Yeah.
like like Ari went through this transition. I had come out of a 10.5-year relationship. I was fucked up. It took me like a full year after that to feel normal. And so like it was very confusing. And to be honest, like there were like, I mean, I don't know. There were rumors that we were dating. We weren't. We just weren't. Like it was just like we
were hanging
we were
out.
just
Did
friends.
the crooked guys start those rumors?
Listen, yes,
I know you can hear me right now, and that was
they
crazy
were
what you did.
they were leaking to if I remembered it would have been
TMZ
funny.
was
No,
all
what's the
over
name of
it.
the on Housewives reality Von Teese?
Oh, reality Von Monica was all over it.
Yeah, like Monica was on it, but so like we both kind of like just sort of kind of step back from it. I'm just like your life is changing a lot, my life is changing a lot, and then and by the way, like part of it was also like we work together. It's complicated, and like I actually really care about making sure that like when we had a conversation about it, and it was like whatever happens with us. Like it will, like I will always support you. I will always have your back. You never need to worry about that. If it's meant to be, great. If it's not, great. Like we were so close, and we had such a connection that was the most important thing. And, but then, and part of the challenge was like, if we were to, it was such a big deal to even consider dating because we work together. Right. That they were afraid of doing it because they're like, well, I've never had a relationship with a guy before, and we're going to blow up our friendship. We're going to have to go talk to HR at the office. And then 2 months,
God, this is kooky.
2 months later, we're going to say this isn't right. And then everybody at work will be like, oh, they dated. Like, it was just like, it was such a big deal.
And it is scary because you never know, like you could go in and say all those things no matter what, it'll be fine. But you just never know how you'll react when something ends. Do you know what I mean? That's the scariest part. That's actually the scariest part of everything.
Right.
No.
Yes, for sure. That is the scariest part of everything.
You might be you might end up at Jon Lovett's house playing checkers on a Titanic.
By the way, Jon, I heard you throw amazing parties, and I'd love to be included.
You're always. I mean, whenever you get back from Europe.
And thank you
you're
for
always.
that.
Here's the thing: whenever I check in with you, which is all the time, you're always in Europe. You're like, I can't. I'm in Gestad.
I'm trying to get out of there.
I'm in Gestad right now.
Sipping my tea. Okay, so there must have been something in your gut that was like, I have to pursue this, even though all these things are telling me it's too crazy.
Well, it's true love is what happened.
Yes. I mean, part of it was like I'm really like. So at some points I was lying to everyone. At some point I was lying to myself, and I don't know which of those points were. But the lie was I moved like this is fine. We're going to be friends, and everything's going to be okay. At times I think I genuinely believed it. At times it was just something I was saying to kind of get to the other side of it. But but basically I had a whole other relationship, a great relationship with a great person.
We actually have them here today. Can you let them in, Tavi? Thank you. We're gonna let them into the studio.
Well, 10 years is so long.
Well, yes, but even after, so like I had almost a year-long relationship after Ronan.
Ooh, well, that's nice because you need a little buffer, I feel.
And he was so wonderful, and like it just wasn't right, and I like wanted it to be right so badly, and so after that ended, Ari and I went for a walk, and basically I said to them some version of, when we had a conversation about whether we should try to be more than friends, like a year ago or a little over a year ago, like we decided it wasn't right. And in part that was because I really respected this. You said that you were meant to be with a woman. And I really internalized that. Like I really believed that, and I really tried to like accept that and see you only as a friend and as someone like this is not meant to be, it's not meant to be, and like to move on. And I did, and it doesn't feel like it's completely done. If you still feel that way, that's totally great. We will will accept that, and that's how we're meant to be together as friends. But if you don't think that's true anymore, if you don't have to know for sure, but if you think that there's a chance that that's not true anymore, I want to know that too. And they said there was.
Oh
Oh my God.
Chill, full body, actually. I'm actually diagnosing myself with full body.
And we started dating, and it was...
What was your first date?
Was the first kiss electric?
It's so hard to... thank you for your questions.
You're welcome.
We like
You're
to both
welcome.
ask a question at the same exact time, and then the guest has to choose who they align with more.
I genuinely don't remember what the quote first date is because we were friends. Like, I don't actually remember what like was technically the first date. And as for... I like physically cannot talk about that in this space.
Understood.
David and Jordan are now laughing at the idea.
Oh, come on,
I can't.
David and Jordan, you need to grow up.
David and Jordan need to grow up.
I'm so sick of their shit.
I can't even see them. I just feel their presence.
Oh my God.
David's under the table. Jordan just popped up. Look, it was the feeling of something being, it was so, it like made everything, it like to know, like there's nothing to be done about it. It made so many other moments in my life clear because it was so right.
Oh,
and
that's so beautiful.
And like, it was, so the other part about it is this starts, and then I obviously, of course, go on Survivor.
I know, so we have to go
Oh
about
my
that.
God.
There's so much to ask, but keep
so
going.
we literally had just started dating, and then I'm like, oh, by the way, can you watch my dog for the entire month of May because I'm going on Survivor?
Oh my God.
And I genuinely didn't know what would happen while I was gone, in the sense that look, we'd had this sort of vaguely romantic kind of star-crossed obstacle, as this
Jim and Pam. So
I was going to say, as
Jim and Pam.
Mel Robbins or one of those people says that obsession is love plus an obstacle.
Oh, really?
And so,
oh my God, wait, is that true? Mel Robbins says that.
It might not be Mel Robbins. It may be one of the other people. Maybe other internet inspirational figures.
Someone says that obsession.
It's not
is
her.
love
It's the
plus
other
an
one. It's the other one. It's the one that has an accent. Who has an accent?
It doesn't matter who says it. It doesn't matter. They're all the same.
They are. They are the same.
Okay.
But so anyway, it was what was going to happen while I was gone? Maybe the spell will break, right? We'd had this long build up. We're starting to date. It's going really well. But who knows what it feels like to be gone for a month? Maybe it really won't feel as strong. Maybe it will feel like it was actually a kind of fleeting obsession. But when I got my phone back, I called them, and we both were that was, I think, one of the biggest things I learned while I was gone, which is this was it. We moved in basically right after.
Oh,
it just it
amazing.
sped everything up. And I had talked about this, that obviously, when you go on Survivor and figure out 5 guest hosts for your show, keep it a secret for everybody, go through the whole process. You do want to get out first, and that's the goal. But but I really did get this amazing experience of getting to step out of my life for a while and meet all these people, but also realize something about the relationship that I think probably would have taken another 4 or 5 or 6 months. We had, maybe we would have.
Endgame.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. That you had a final 2 deal. That actually you had a final 2 deal back home.
I did. I had an alliance that would last,
Do you think I should go on Survivor?
Yeah.
Really?
It's
You
great.
have
Get me on.
to.
You have to do it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Can you get me on? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. We just don't acknowledge when women are speaking as much.
No, it's because my mic did the thing again, so I might
Maybe we
rejoin.
can't,
But
'cause
I
in my-
appreciate that.
In my experience, you haven't been saying anything, so if you have, then we can't hear you. But
Jesus.
okay. Okay, interesting. And so then they moved in, and they and you proposed when? And is there going to be a big announcement? Because you were like, when does this drop?
I'm gonna talk about it. So I'm gonna talk about it on Love or Leave It. But I haven't yet. Not for any reason other than it just was it really did feel weird to be so in the news today, the judicial branch has been dissolved. Also,
Totally.
personal business.
I have an announcement.
You have an announcement.
I still haven't announced my engagement on this
Oh, wow.
podcast. Yeah, just because we're usually talking about the judicial branch and stuff, and it just feels weird.
Feels weird to
I'm
bring
going
it
to
up.
leave and come back again because of my tech difficulties. Don't judge me. I love everyone here so much. Okay.
Okay, we can keep going.
Have you thought of anything you want to say about Kat while she's gone?
Please.
No, I have to
please.
really brainstorm. Okay, so is there a date? So
No, nothing has been set. We're starting to think about what it's going to be. But yeah, we're just at the very beginning.
And how long ago was the first, like, when you had that conversation?
About being engaged?
No, about we should be more than friends.
That was like a year ago. A little less than a year ago. Yeah.
And who proposed, may I ask?
It was so planned out. Basically, we had decided we were going to do it over the holidays. And it was like, there was no surprise whatsoever. Like, we had decided on like rings together. We decided when we were going to do it. We decided where we were going to do it. We even decided at like what time during the dinner we were going to do it, which was we wanted to.
Oh my God.
Look, these are two anxious Jews not yet cured. And so we literally.
When the waiter takes a checkbook before they bring back the your card.
So close. It was. So we decided that we would do the proposal after dessert had been placed, but before we had touched it. The theory being that is a moment where there was zero possibility of any kind of interruption.
Totally.
And so we basically it was not, so there's no surprise, but like we had like a really nice day together. And then in that moment, we each took a moment to talk about like why we wanted to be engaged and why we wanted to get married. And we each like spoke about it. And then that was it. That was the official moment. We were engaged.
And
This is so exciting.
I know. Wait, now tell us everything about Survivor.
I know.
So how did you know you wanted to go on? How did it work?
So I started watching Survivor. I had watched season 1 when it aired.
Yes.
And which way do you want your hat, Pat?
I don't know, but I like the act of switching it back and
It's
forth.
cool. I think.
Don't you
Can we
think?
see it the other way? I think it's cool that you can pull that off, and I mean that. I'm not even trying to be funny.
I know.
yeah, it looks hot that way.
Here's the tea: is I can pull it
That's
off.
cool. That's cool. It's cool to have that head shape.
Do you know the most internalized homophobic like interaction I've ever had?
I would love to know. I would love to know what it is.
I was at Metropolitan up for 3 days on drugs, whatever. And I was like wearing a hat like this. And there was another guy in like truly a like varsity Letterman jacket. And he came up to me and was like, I like your hat. And I was like, I like your jacket. And then we started making out. And it was just so like sartorially masculine. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's really,
That's hot.
that is cool.
And
It's
then-
hot for sure.
And then we got in a cab back to his apartment and like we're kind of making out. And he was like, I'm too tired. You have to get out. I was like, wait, what? And I got out of the cab.
That's
Wow.
romantic.
That was your meet
Anyways.
cute.
Yeah. So if he's listening, I still love your varsity Letterman Riverdale style jacket.
Never change.
Okay.
So I watched the first season when it aired as a kid. I think at the end of, for me, it was at the very end of high school, I think, because I think it aired in like May of 2000. I loved it. Didn't watch it for a long time. I think like post pandemic, I started like catching up. And as I watched, I became more obsessed with the idea of going on it. But the reason I kind of wanted to do it was I really struggle. Like, there was something about ceding control to this thing. Where like I wouldn't be like I put so much anxiety and so much obsession into how I look, and I sometimes feel like because of like self-help culture and influencer culture, you're not allowed to, it's frowned upon to talk about these kinds of things before you have clarity on it. And I still don't totally have, you know what I mean? You have to have to know what's correct and make sure you espouse the correct thing. But like,
right.
Oh yeah, we've been messing up with that for about 7 years. So
but like, I just and I just feel badly about how I look all the time. It's it's just what it is. And like,
yes.
I have now, like, I'm literally on Manjaro to be thinner. And by the way, like my therapist was like, but don't you see that will just you will just put your anxiety and obsession and negative thoughts into other areas of your life. And I'm like, bitch, let's find out.
Yeah. Hold, please.
Let's see where it goes. My therapist said that about something in my life where I was like, I have to end this thing, and I would think it's causing me anxiety. And he's like, yeah, but then you'll be anxious about something else. And it's like, well, I don't
then
know.
How else do you suggest helping me?
I know he had no more suggestions. Okay, keep going.
But so
sorry.
like, I really there was but like what I was feeling is that like I finally felt like a kind of confidence in myself in a deeper way. That what was exciting to me about it was like you kind of like put like Survivor, like people complain. Some people that have been on it have complained about the edit, but for the most part, I actually think it's like one of the more like I think it is like there's a lot of integrity in what Survivor is that sort of that it has a culture of that, and like more so than in other I think reality shows, even reality competition shows that I think like will piece together stories from little bits in ways that I think Survivor does not do. And so there was something about ceding control over how I look, and that like I was excited about. Plus, I was just excited about the challenge and the fun, and by the way, like just stepping outside of my life for a while because like I'm in a lot of control, right? Like I'm sitting in a studio at Crooked, which is a company I founded. I get to host the shows I want to host. I get to like make what I want to make. Like I'm very lucky, but like. There was something about handing myself over and being part of it that I thought was really cool. And I'm still really glad I did it. And I told Jeff when I interviewed, and like I didn't do some back channel thing. Like I submitted a video.
Yeah.
And I told Jeff when I was in like one of the final rounds that like, I just want you to know, like I genuinely believe I will either go to the end or go home first.
Really?
Like,
that's
that's it for me. There's no other way.
That's like Haley from Australia version.
And I caught the bad end of that stick, but like, but it was sort of like an unlucky version of going home. Like, look, if I had like been embarrassed and like kind of fallen flat on my face and like fucked something up and been a fool or whatever, I would have understood it more. I would have been upset about it more. I mean,
like if you had done what Andy done and it resulted in you going home,
right?
But instead Andy did what he did it and resulted in you going home somehow.
Yes, well, and I think like it was correct. Like I understand why they did it. Like I've talked to them all about it. Like I understand why they did it. Like Andy had made himself someone who can't win, and so like. There was he had like, so just for those listening, like, and it was a very strange situation. Somebody on my tribe had like a complete panic attack and like in front
because John got cheered on for cutting
because I cut a coconut. And like, I think they just quickly realized.
As someone who's never really seen the show, I am confused, but I'm also on board.
Basically what you need to know, all you need to know is sometimes on Survivor, you keep around somebody who has fucked up because they no longer can win. And so they're just kind of someone you don't have to worry about anymore. And that's what happened with my group. Anyway.
But then he almost did have a bit of a comeback, don't you think?
For sure. But again, all of it I think was wrapped in the fact that like everybody kind of saw him as someone to bring to the end because he had...
But that one play, do you know what I mean? He could have given a compelling speech at the end.
Maybe so.
So... who do you want to be? I mean, you already are living the dream life, it seems. What more could you possibly... You're in love. Mm-hmm. You're in control of your media empire. You live in LA. You're gorgeous. Right. Baby face. Take it. Accept it. But is there anything else you're like, what do you dream of? Do you want kids?
I do want kids.
Oh my God, sweet.
I do want kids.
Well, you're on that track. You have a gorgeous home. Your homes is one of my favorite homes. Wow.
That must feel so good to have a home. I'm craving a home.
You're living that itinerant lifestyle. You know, you're on your way. You're to Bali next. Where are you going from here?
That is so unlike me. I am going back to New York City, where I live.
Nice.
I know.
I'm so excited. I'm going to go to, John, have you been to yet the Kismet pop-up steakhouse? Everyone says it's so good.
I have. And it is so good. And it is so good.
Do you know that my favorite kind of food...
That has become such like an LA foodie. Like it's crazy.
I haven't been, but my favorite kind of food is elevated American.
Well, guess what?
Sorry.
Guess what?
Sorry about it.
Get in that elevator because that's what you're going to find when you get to the Kismet steak pop-up.
I know. I'm so excited.
So now I like I'm trying to figure out now, like, I think like what I like slowly realized, like I made so many decisions. All the decisions I made led to me being here, which is like, so I feel like no regret, but like I made decisions for the first 40 years of my life around not like, what do I want to be doing, but rather what do I want to be, right? Like I made decisions about perception and ambition. Like I have that thing. And like I sometimes think we think of, God, this is going to be, just bear with me. Will you bear with me? Will you bear with me for a moment?
But will your
Anytime.
coworkers bear with us? Is my question.
I think we've already. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
We've shaken them loose. Have we shaken them loose?
Oh yeah, they're loose. They're loose. Like I sometimes think we think of like ambition as like a kind of like intellectual or like higher level, desire. But I think it's really base, and I think it's really like instinctive.
Totally.
And I think I think there are certain people that just have this sort of drive, and like it's like, and like some people are lucky enough to put it in the right direction. I think some people, I think you see this on Housewives a lot. By the way, I want you to know that I'm not someone who could previously have been talking about Housewives, but it just finally happened.
Oh my God, congratulations.
Salt Lake was my gateway, and I'm like so fully fucking in. Like, I was out, knew nothing. I had Candy Burris on Love It or Leave It, did not know who she was, had deep regrets of how I conducted that interview. But like, I'm so into it now. But like, what I think of, like, when I see I think what Housewives, kind of the engine of Housewives are people whose like talent does not match their ambition. Like, they have this crazy ambition and they have nowhere to put it. But like,
there's someone being celebrated right now in the entertainment industry that is like that. And they're having wild success.
Wow.
I think I know who you're saying.
Or there's only one person it could be. The person whose ambition does not match their talent, but they're having wild success. Well, that is kind
of a lot of people, to be honest.
But there's one person who it's like we've never seen before. The mayor has ascended, and they are trying to destroy Sunnydale.
I think I know who you mean.
You have to. It's the most annoying person. Think of the most annoying person.
I know. But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Think of the person that everyone thinks is annoying.
I know who you're talking about. I don't agree. I don't agree with you.
No, John. You gotta go, girl. You gotta go.
I don't.
How do you not? What are you talking about? Oh, we can't get too specific.
We have to cut this anyways because we're being so mean.
Leave it in. Leave it in. Love it or leave it in.
Okay, not to be okay, wait, sorry.
Okay, but so anyway, but anyway, all that I was saying is like I feel like I made a lot of decisions like that weren't about being happy, and to the point where like it wasn't even like similar to like growing up like it didn't even occur to me. Like it didn't even occur to me that I should be making decisions about happiness at all. Like I didn't even know what happiness was, and I think it's in part because like I was pretty depressed from like basically like I think it took the pandemic. There's F. Scott Fitzgerald. I'm sorry. I'm a fucking pretentious person. F. Scott Fitzgerald.
We're on board.
F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote a series of essays for Esquire in the 1930s called they're now collectively known as the Crackup. What's interesting about the Crackup, and I highly recommend everybody read it, is that it's somebody writing about having a mental breakdown in the middle of a mental breakdown. And he doesn't have the words for what he's going through, but what he's dealing with is
cut to Pat at your party.
Alcoholism. He's dealing with alcoholism and deep, deep depression. But one thing he says in it is like he was living a life of basically sleeping like most of the day, making lists in his home. One of the things the lists he made of are times he was snubbed by those who were not his better in character or ability. Which is fucking 10 out of 10. That's all of us. So he's laying up at night thinking about his grievances. He's basically a seriously depressed person. And then he says, I got a little better. And then I cracked like a plate when I heard the news. And that's sort of what happened, which is I was really depressed. It got so bad. I was eating edibles all the time. I was like, basically like, I was on the East Coast for a while and I would like get up, I would do some like podcast recording. I'd like have an edible by like 4 or 5 p.m. and just be stoned basically to the next day and just do that over and over and over again. The relationship was I think like increasingly like I was having trouble facing the reality, which is that like, despite how much hope and faith and like desire I had for this to work, it wasn't. And I like realized all of that, and then I got a little better, and I cracked like a plate when I heard the news, and all of a sudden I realized like, oh, like I know I can be happy. Like I can figure out how to do this, and I have to make a bunch of changes, and I have to get in better shape, and I have to like stop taking edibles all the time to avoid my problems. And like there's just like a bunch of things that had to happen. And then all of a sudden that has like repercussions in what I do at work, because now that I'm a happier person, all of a sudden it's like, well, forget like trying to prove myself to some invisible, like, what do I want to do? Like, what's fun? Like, what do I enjoy doing? And like, I'm honestly like thinking about like, that's new for me.
I feel like I used to be that way, and I've gotten a little swept up in the wrong way lately. And
it's
not
hard.
fun.
Well, by the way, like the thing about it is that like it's an easy thing to say, but like sometimes actually it's really important to get like kind of put aside. Like it sucks, but like sometimes it's actually the right decision to put aside your happiness for a while and grind on some aspect of yourself or your work, you know, or like to take the job, like, to take the writing job you don't want because it's going to lead to something better, whatever it may be. Like sometimes that's a good decision.
But you'll never do interesting work when you're trying to prove to the world that you matter. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's a really well said. That was beautiful, Pat.
Well, I'm the next up, Scott Fitzgerald, and I'm writing the Crackup right now for the cut.
I can't believe at least 2 people in this room thought you were stupid.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
You guys, I sadly have to go to my show. So should we do we have a crush of the week, everyone?
My crush of the week are these kinds of Sharpies that I just got. They're because I'm back into bujoing, and they kind of come on matte. So I do my bujo, and it's like you can write on them.
Pretty.
It's very fun like that. And then I saw them I was at somewhere, I forget where I was, but they had the pens. And I was like, this is crazy. I love these pens. And it just made me reflect for a moment on how I truly love them.
Wow, that's beautiful.
I love that. My crush of the week is stealing beautiful products from the hotel I was in for one night and taking all their body wash and shampoo. It smelled so good. And I had these empty like to-go bottles, and I filled them to the brim, and it felt incredible.
Yeah.
All right, my crush of the week, it's going to be 2-step face washes where they come together, and step 1 is an exfoliator and step 2 is a neutralizer. And I'm just like,
I have to do something to my face.
Everybody out there, I found
Can
it.
you send me that?
I found
What
it.
brand?
I
Can
found
you
it.
send me that?
There's 2
John,
brands.
can you
There's
send
2
me that?
brands.
Can you send me that?
I will send it to you after. I will send it. We have a couple things we need to say, which are all the names we were omitting, and then also I will send you the names. I will send you the thing. But that it's like, it's life changing.
Yeah, I have to have
Dr.
that.
Dennis is one of them, but there's a new one. There's a new one that's
Dennis.
like cold and tingly before bed. Sign me up.
Ooh, that feels good.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Cold and tingly before bed.
Do you guys feel hot today?
I was a little stronger than I was last Tuesday this morning, and so
last Tuesday this morning.
Of course, with strength comes a feeling of power, and power is what sexuality is all about. So
with great power comes great
responsibility and sensuality. With great power comes great sensuality.
That's obviously the second part of that phrase.
That's true.
I decide whether or not I feel hot based on what happens when I see myself on the Zoom in this room every morning. And honestly, today it's a yes. It's a yes.
You look great.
John, your arms.
Pat, you know what, Pat? I'm going to say it right now. Let's hang out. What's going on?
I'm down the street, but guess what? I DM'd you a couple months ago. And then I was with Matt Rogers, sent you a picture. And he was like, I'm DMing with Jon Lovett. And I was like, tell him that he didn't respond to my DM.
I'm so bad. Honestly, the way I've made it.
But we're down the street, so we
have to hang out. I really mean it, though. Yes. It's not like a LA thing. I want to be friends.
I mean it, too. And I want to get to know Ari.
Great.
Now. Yeah. Okay.
Great.
It's happening.
And Kat, whenever you get back from Minsk or wherever, when you finish, and I think you're going to Sitges next, or you're doing a late night show in Sitges, and then it's to Gibraltar, and then a little stop in Marrakesh, and then you'll be back.
So guys, get your tickets at Kat.
Mike's, and she's gone.
This is okay. Okay. Are you
guys mad at me? Are you mad at me because my mic kept going off and I have to leave?
Actually went out at a very funny moment, so it all worked out. It all just worked out.
It's driving me nuts. I'm sorry.
Are you mad at me, John, for any of the things that have happened to her today?
Not a thing. I feel I'm trying to think, do I have any regrets of this conversation? And I don't. I loved every moment of it.
It was so fun.
I'm
so excited for you. You're living the dream, John. What you've described here today of what happened is what everyone's dream is. You found the thing that's quite rare.
And you know what else? You know what I need to work on? Gratitude.
Yeah.
Oh,
gratitude.
6 things I was grateful for yesterday.
Oprah says gratitude is her religion.
Gratitude is love plus an obstacle. Okay.
Gratitude equals mood and vibe and day.
Thank you everyone for listening. When the heart break,
It don't break even.
Treatment. If you're boring as fuck, seek treatment. If you're unlucky in love, seek treatment. If you just can't take a hint, well, seek treatment. With Kat and Pat.
That was a Headgum podcast.